hope this one is working. Ladies, good afternoon. I'm Beth Hendricks, the Executive Director of the League of Women Voters of Colorado, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you to Leader of Democracy 2024. It's exciting to see so many friends and shareholders here as we gather to celebrate our impacts, our partners, and the supporters of the League of Women Voters of Colorado. The League couldn't survive without its grassroots volunteers who are scattered across the state, but united in our drive for an equitable Colorado, one where every voice is heard and every community represented. It's these strong-willed people who give their time and talent to ensure that democracy remains our foundation and that our elected officials remain accountable to voters. And many give their treasure as well, including our event sponsors. 19th Amendment sponsors, the Tynes family and Nancy Ulrich. Voter protection advocates Ann Sutton and Barbara. Voter education supporters Maud Narol and Bonnie Seals. Suffragist sponsors Kathy and Jerry Wilson, Barbara Allen Ford, the Molly Brown House, the Selfinger family, Luann Dale, Britta Singer, Tracy Trenham, and Bobby Heisterkamp. Bobby is also our awards sponsor, and she's dedicating her sponsorship to the memory of Floody Anderson, a lifetime member and leader of the Denver and Colorado Leagues, who passed away last month at the age of 95. I'd like to ask for a brief moment of silence to honor Floody. Thank you. Thank you also to El Seminario Dual Language Newspaper for live streaming this event. Karen, Natalia, thank you for your work on our behalf. And Chris and Tony Fresquez, we so appreciate your partnership and your friendship. And also thank you to the Limelight Denver Hotel for donating this beautiful space as part of their Denver Community Fund initiative. So in case you didn't notice, we have a wine pull in the lobby. Every $20 donation walks away with a bottle of wine. It might be a $15 bottle, or it might be a $45 bottle, or it might be a special Nuggets Championship engraved bottle. But it's a win-win no matter what. So stock up your wine cellar today to benefit the League. So now I would like to introduce our Master of Ceremonies for today's event. Please join me in welcoming Danny Newsom, Director of Strategic Partnerships at Cobalt, a valued partner of the League of Women Voters of Colorado, and our state's leading organization fight for reproductive rights, justice, and freedom. Danny will be guiding us through today's celebration.
Well, hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. I have to tell you, this is the best hotel desserts I've ever had in my life. So I was shoveling it because I didn't want my plate taken. I'm just being serious. So anyway, it is wonderful to be here. As Beth said, my name is Danny Newsom, and I am the Director of Strategic Partnerships at Cobalt. Cobalt. I hope most of you have heard of Cobalt, but for those of you who haven't, Cobalt has been in Colorado since 1967. We've had a couple of name changes. We became Cobalt in 2020. and we are a reproductive rights and access advocacy organization. We work to ensure that nothing stands between you and your healthcare decisions, your reproductive healthcare decisions. We provide rapid response, grassroots action to protect reproductive, engage in meeting the community's needs, and make sure everyone knows how the reproductive health care that is best for them. Cobalt, we focus on reproductive rights and access. We are working for policies and for laws that ensure that everyone has the freedom to decide and has access to the reproductive health care, including abortion care. We center abortion care, and for good reason, but to make sure that everyone has the freedom to decide that, and we are working very hard to make sure that everyone has access to that care, because a right without access is an empty promise. Of course, when that initiative passes in Colorado on my birthday, November 5th, we will have codified the right to abortion in the Colorado Constitution, and we will have made sure that those with public health insurance, firefighters, teachers, librarians, park rangers, secretaries at our universities, and other people with public health insurance are able to use that insurance for abortion care, because right now they cannot. Okay, so League members across the state mobilized this winter and spring, some of them are right here, to help us gather signatures to place this measure on the November ballot. And in fact, this is something I did not know, Leaguers gathered a full 38% of the signatures gathered by volunteers. Lawsuit against the Weld County Board of Commissioners, and what two women, Stacy Suniga and Barbara Winery, with the, did I say that right, Winery? Okay, good. Okay, Winery, with the support of the League and the Weld County Latino Coalition, what they had accomplished on behalf of the voters of Weld County, I wanted to be a part of this celebration. And when I heard that the League of Women Voters is also honoring Representative Brianna Titone for her tireless work for equity and respect for our LGBTQ plus friends, especially trans youth, at a time of relentless attack, I wanted to be a part of this celebration. So thank you, thank you, thank you for inviting me. Okay, up first, I am honored to introduce, hopefully, you finished the dessert? We had the same ones. But, okay. I'm honored to introduce our distinguished Colorado leader who will be opening our celebration, Lieutenant Governor Diane Primavera. Lieutenant Governor Primavera is serving her second term as Colorado's 50th Lieutenant Governor. She has dedicated her career to public service, advocating for the rights and well-being of all Coloradans. In her role as Lieutenant Governor, she leads 6 programs. The Office of Saving People Money on Healthcare. Do you love that name? Oh my God, the Office of Saving People Money on Healthcare. Oh, wow. The Office of eHealth Innovation, the Colorado Disability Funding Committee and Disability Policy, the Colorado Commission of Indian Affairs, Serve Colorado, and Aerospace and Defense. Diane is a lifelong Coloradan and longtime Broomfield resident. Prior to her role as Lieutenant Governor, Diane worked as Chief Executive Officer of Susan G. Komen, Colorado, and served 8 years in the state legislature, representing Broomfield, Superior, and parts of Erie and Westminster. Please join me in welcoming Lieutenant Governor of Colorado, Diane Primavera. I'm just going to take this with me. I'm not sure where I'm
Kind of do-si-do. Good afternoon, everybody. And if anybody can come up with an acronym for the Office of Saving People Money on Healthcare, we're still looking for one. So it's great to be here to celebrate Colorado's League of Women Voters and the valuable work that they're leading in communities across our state. Governor Polis and I have worked since day one to build a Colorado for all, an inclusive, respectful Colorado where every person, no matter who they are, who they love, what their ability is, how they vote, or where they're from, can thrive. Today we live in a world where we're bombarded with information, ideas coming from differing camps of thought, and while we may not share the same viewpoints as our neighbors, it's important to be respectful of one another and share space. This is what I believe is at the heart of a Colorado for all, and shared by the League of Women Voters, providing space for education and community conversation, all while supporting fair and accountable elections. So today, we're here to celebrate trailblazing women who have carved a space out for themselves and spoke up, not just for themselves, but for their communities. They truly exemplify the famous words of Shirley Chisholm, the first African-American woman to serve in Congress, who once said, "If they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair." Let me be clear, it's not easy breaking into new spaces, questioning a decision, or being the first. Having graduated as part of Regis University's first graduating class of women, this is something I experienced firsthand. While I was on campus at Regis, women had to follow a detailed dress code, and when I use the word dress, I mean dress. There weren't any women's sports, with the exception of cheerleading, which I took part in, and while it wasn't always explicitly expressed, there was the notion that I and the other female students on campus were simply there for what was called our MRS degree, that we weren't truly interested in studies, but we were mostly hoping to secure a rich husband. I wanted to prove that I was there to learn and set myself up for a successful career. I worked multiple side jobs while attending school, working in a veterinarian's office, grooming dogs, and waitressing. I found community in an environment that could be challenging at times, and when I graduated with my bachelor's degree in psychology, it was both a big success for me, but also an important milestone for the future of my university. It paved the way for more women to attend Regis and be treated with honor and respect that they deserve. Today, women are a majority when it comes to both students and faculty at Regis, and we've seen alumni go on to big things, and you might have heard of this person, such as Yadira Caraveo, who is proudly serving Colorado District 8 in the U.S. House of Representatives, the first Latina from our state to do so. So it's with much appreciation I would like to congratulate Dr. Barbara Winery, Stacy Suniga, and Representative Brianna Titone. Representative Titone, thank you for always sharing your delicious Italian cooking with me. She makes the best cannolis, great olives, but most importantly for being a pioneer for inclusivity for all Coloradoans. We know how important it is for us, and especially our kids and young adults, to see ourselves represented, whether that's in the media, in our schools, or in government. Through Representative Titone's work and the advocacy of Dr. Barbara Winery, and Stacy Suniga. The voices of Colorado's Latino and LGBT communities are getting the support and representation that they deserve. So congratulations and best wishes. To today's recipients, and a big thank you to the League of Women Voters for your steadfast leadership here in Colorado.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. It is just a privilege. I saw her out there and I said, you know, I'm a fan. It kind of makes me feel a little nervous to be around you. Thank you for your time. But it also just makes me feel really good that you think the same about us, the League of Women Voters, right? It's pretty cool, pretty cool. Welcome. I'm Irene Tynes. I'm the president of the board for the League of Women Voters of Colorado. And good afternoon to every one of you. It's so nice to see your faces and that you took the time on a Saturday to come join us. And I also want to thank everybody that's on Zoom. I don't know if you all know that we are doing this virtually as well. And El Seminaria is providing that service for us. So there's a lot more people in the room than you think. Okay, so behave. It's a privilege to be with you to celebrate tonight. I'm here to talk about who are we? Who are we, the League of Women Voters of Colorado, and what are our impacts? You know, Beth and I talk about this all the time. Beth is my partner as the executive director. She's great fun to be with. She's a really hard worker. But one thing she's very good at is calling me to say, do you know what we did today? Do you know how many people we affected? I'm like, wait, I gotta write that down, because I'm the person that writes everything down on statistics. So here you go, you ready? So, we have provided over 500,000 voters through a diversity of efforts. Ready? We held 382 educational events. Now, I'm talking about this year. We engaged 3,414 volunteers who contributed 26,000 hours. We trained 998 people. Okay, we're slacking. We need to get that to 1,000. We still have the rest of the month to do it. So, the LWVCO website had more than 200,000 hits. Videos of our events and forums received 127,000 YouTube impressions. Now, this is an important one. Pay attention here, ready? Because this is the work that we're doing for you. Our Legislative Action Committee tracked 267 bills at the state capitol with 94% success rate of bill passage or defeat in alignment with the LWVCO stance. Yes, right? I mean, think about that. Think about the lobbying that's being done on your behalf. 267 bills. Almost 6,600 voters made their voices heard through the LWVCO action alerts. You know what an action alert is? Everybody know what an action alert is? Hey, when you're supposed to write your congressman and all that, right? So the league got 6,600 people to call, write, show up. We distributed over 20,000 ballot issue materials. We had 89,000 hits on Vote 411. We sent our weekly newsletter to almost 5,000 subscribers, and more than 20 governmental bodies are monitored through Observer Corps statewide. Okay? Those of you that aren't intimate with what the league does, right? We're showing up at the meetings. Like, Larry, you get it. We're sitting there and we're paying attention and we are giving the input. These efforts are the backbone and the commitment to empower our voters. This is our mission. Empowering voters, defending democracy. You're going to hear it 15 times tonight because that's our slogan. That's what we do. Beth spoke a little bit earlier and showed you people that donated. I'm here to say tonight, John and I have donated because we see every day what the League of Women Voters can do. we see the impacts that they are making on the state of Colorado. So, it's my job to ask you today, please join us in scanning a QR code, writing a check, getting on your phone. Help us make this happen. We need it, we want it. You know that the league makes a difference, and you will help us do it. Thank you so much for joining us today, and on with the program. I guess maybe I'm supposed to say what the on with the program is. Thank Danny, thank you. Come on up. Did I do that right? Beth, keep us in line.
Is this the 30-second video? Okay. All right, here we go. So have we finished with the 30-second video? I think we may be on 1.5 minutes, and that's okay. All right, great, thanks. And thank you, Irene. Okay, so we are moving on to a focus on the power of voter empowerment. And this brings us to our first two honorees, Dr. Barbara Winnery, who is not here today, and Stacy Suniga. Is Stacy here? Oh, here we go. Did I pronounce your name correctly? Okay, you're being gracious. Thank you. Dr. Winnery is a dedicated League of Women Voters Colorado board member and voter services co-director, as well as a leader with the Greeley-Weld County League of Women Voters. Stacy Suniga is the president of the Latina Coalition of Weld County, which is dedicated to making certain that people of all backgrounds, including the growing local Latino community, are given equal opportunity to participate in the direction of local laws and governmental issues. In a lawsuit filed in October 2023 with the pro bono support of the Louis Roca law firm, the League of Women Voters of Greeley-Weld County, the Latino Coalition of Weld County, Barbara Winnery, and Stacy Suniga alleged that the Weld County Board of Commissioners acted in violation of State House Bill 21-1047 by not providing a proper public notice of hearings on the redistricting process, and by drawing a map that divided an important community of interest, Weld County's growing Latino population. Both Dr. Winnery and Stacy not only sued through their respective organizations, but named themselves in the lawsuit. For this courageous act in support of Weld County voters, the League of Women Voters of Colorado is proud to honor Dr. Barbara Winnery and Stacy Suniga. And also with us, though, today are 4 members of the Louis Roca law team that gave hundreds of hours in support of this suit and Colorado voters. Will you please stand and accept a highly deserved round of applause? Kendra Beckwith, Kenneth F. Rossman, Elizabeth Michaels, and Joe Hyken? Hyken. Woo! That's democracy in action, folks. And sadly, as we know, Barbara Winery is home in bed with COVID and is sorry to miss today's celebration and has prepared a statement. But first, let's welcome Stacy Suniga to the stage. Way to go.
Well, I'm not a person who writes down my speeches, so I come from the hip, so hopefully you can rein me in a little bit. I just want to say thank you to the League of Women Voters. You were so instrumental, not only in this honor, I appreciate it so much, but there are so many people that came together to really make this happen. And that was part of the League of Women Voters. When we went to a meeting when the Weld County Commissioners were adopting their new map, and we felt it was an awful map, obviously, that they did not follow the House Bill 1047. They followed no tenets of that law, and therefore violated the people of Weld County. And we felt that those maps were really kind of generated to support reelection. And so we appeared at a meeting and said so. We said, please follow the House Bill, the tenets of House Bill 1047. And we were told, no, absolutely not. We are a home rule charter, and we don't have to follow state law. So we left that meeting pretty frustrated, a little bit angry. And I remember talking to Barb Winery and said, you know, this happens in this community so often that they do what they want and then nobody ever does anything about it. You know, we threaten, we just cannot let this go. Not this time and not anymore. And so Barb was in agreement. Thank you. So we spent several months trying to figure out how we were going to do it. We did a lot of research with the League of Women Voters and leadership. And so we finally came across some wonderful attorneys at Louis and Roca, reached out, and I talked with Kendra Beckwith and said, this is what we're facing and this is what we want to do. And it was like almost immediately, she said, I'll give you a call. This was a Friday night. I think you called me back pretty late. It was like 9 at night. And she says, I'll give you a call Monday morning. And she had representation for us. And she says, we're going to do it for free. We think this is important. So they came forward, did this pro bono. And as was recognized, she's here with Joe and Beth. And they had I think a series of colleagues, and even some outside the firm, that jumped in on this and really helped. And so my first thank you is to the firm at Louis and Roca. Thank you. We could not have had a victory if it weren't for you. So I appreciate you. Thank you. And I also want to thank, I did thank the League of Women Voters, but my cohort, Barb, you know, we kind of stuck with it. We still are sticking with it. As you know, there is an appeal going on. But we felt very, very good about winning the case because it was very frustrating. I think the League of Women Voters and the Latino Coalition of Weld County both put in so much effort to get voters registered, to get voters, people engaged in the political system. Use your right to vote. And then when the map came out and it divided the Latino community in 3 different districts, you know, it really diluted the voice. So also, another thank you before I forget, thank you to our Attorney General, Phil Weiser, for writing an amicus brief in support of a win for us. Phil's a good guy, good friend, and I just love him, and thank you for that. Thank you for working with him. But I think my last thank you, strangely enough, will be to the Weld County Commissioner, that when I saw he was going to speak at a LULAC luncheon, my wife Deb and I showed up, and I brought this up. I says, why are you not following the law of 1047? Well, we don't have to, heard the same things, and it kind of got a little wordy, and this person got frustrated and said, well, if you don't like it, sue us. Thank you, Commissioner, for your support. Thank you all. Appreciate you. This is quite an honor. Thank you.
We have something for you.
Oh, thank you.
Stacy, it's just a pleasure.
Oh.
You know, you made our year. Thank you so much. Great. Okay.
Can I just
So-
say one more thing?
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
So those streaming and those in the room, to my gente in Weld County and across the state, this is the song of our tribe. We have a win here. We're going to keep winning. We're going to get there. This is for you.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you very much. Stacy's partner in all this is Dr. Barbara Winery. Barb sits on our board, the state board, and it's a pleasure. Every month when I turn on the meeting, and there is Barb. She's just delightful. She did have some prepared words, and I'd just like to share them with you. Thank you to everyone. It is an honor to be recognized for making contributions to empowering voters and defending democracy. At this prestigious event, along with my friend, co-honoree, co-plaintiff in the Weld County redistricting case, Stacy Sanuka, and her organization, the Weld County Latino Coalition. As a 30-plus year member of the League of Women Voters and the voter service coordinator for the LWV Greeley-Weld County, it has been my mission to register and empower voters through education by holding candidate forums, ballot issue presentations in a nonpartisan way so that we can make informed decisions about their vote. From time to time, I've had the opportunity to be involved in the advocacy arm of our organization. The LWV has outlined principles we feel are critical for good government and maintaining democracy. For example, the concepts of transparency and public access to government. We also have issue positions that were established by extensive research, study, and consensus to guide and enable our advocacy efforts. The national position on redistricting is very clear on criteria and process for drawing district lines. In 2018, LWVCO advocated for the passage of Amendment Y and Z and created an independent redistricting commission for Colorado to draw new congressional and legislative lines following the national census every 10 years. The Colorado electorate voted in 71% favor of approving these two amendments. In 2021, HB 1047, the drawing of voting districts by county governments, was passed by the state legislature and outlined a similar process for counties of over 70,000 voters who elect their commissioners by individual districts. That included Weld County. In 2023, Weld County needed to redraw and update the county commissioner district boundary lines. Weld County is a home rule county. The only criteria that Weld County used was to draw the boundary lines was to divide the population equally into 3 districts. In mid-February, we found out that there was only one hearing meeting left to be held where residents could testify in support or against the proposed new boundaries. We encouraged organizations to submit letters in opposition to the proposed map. 50 people wrote letters in opposition. But on March 1st, 2023, after 5 local women leaders that included Stacy and I testified in opposition to the map and process, it was to no avail. The Weld County Commission adopted the only map that was proposed following the process with very little input from citizens and voters. They did not follow the recently passed law, HB 21-1047, nor did they feel they needed to do so because they were a home rule county. At that point, we felt that we had to do something about the process, lack of transparency, citizen involvement, and fairness of approving the map. Upon a closer look at the approved map, we discovered there was other criteria that were used to draw the map. Each district was equally divided not only by just population, but a third of the number of Republicans, Democrats, unaffiliated, and Latino voters in each district. There was also 3 equal divisions, urban, suburban, and rural voters in each of the 3 districts. Greeley was divided into thirds. What happened to the communities of interest? More importantly, what happened to racial equality and Latino community had been diluted by thirds in each district. I remember sitting at my dining room table and thinking, I just can't let this go. Something needs to be done about clarifying whether Weld County home rule had precedence over state law, and with respect to the districting process. I might say, Stacy was all in from the get-go. To be sure, I was worried about taking such a bold move as a lawsuit, but after much discussion among those of us who had advocated for better redistricting process, we decided to move forward and seek legal advice for initiating a lawsuit. Was it scary and stressful? Yes. Time-consuming? Yes. Intense? Yes. Concerned about negative public reaction in Weld County? Yes. But it was time to act, and on behalf of Weld County citizens to improve the redistricting process outlined in the state law HB 21-1047 and make sure it was followed. My hope is that this situation serves as an example of how regular citizens can step up and work together in confidence with support and resources from organizations to empower voters and defend democracy in your local community. I don't have time this afternoon to go through all the steps we went through, but hopefully, though, my gratitude and appreciations for those that have worked together, you will see it takes other leaders of democracy to undertake such an effort. A huge thank you goes to our local organizations, members of the League of the LWV of Greeley, Weld County, and the Latino Coalition of Weld County, the LWV of Colorado Board of Directors, Executive Director and staff, the LWV of the United States Litigation Team, and our liaison, Thomas Tia. State legislators Mary Young, HD 50, Jennifer Parenti, HD 19, Representative Chris Kennedy, HB 21-10470, co-sponsor, the Colorado Lawyers Coalition, and especially our pro bono team, Kendra Beckworth, Ken Roseman, and their team. And the Colorado Attorney General, Phil Weiser, and his team for following the amicus brief. And to especially my co-plaintiff and good friend, Stacy, for her ongoing support, courage, steadfastness, and leadership along the way. Although we have had successes to date in our pursuit for a fair districting for Weld County with our lawsuit, we are still in the process. We need to celebrate those successes, but realize we have a long way to go. And lastly, for our future leaders of democracy, I encourage you take the first step with courage, commitment, and faith. Others will follow and support you. The future of our democracy depends on you. Each and every one of you are the leaders we need to help empower voters and defend democracy.
Thank you, Irene, and thank you, Dr. Winery. Thank you, Stacy Suniga. Thank you, Lewis Roca Law Firm. As a lawyer in recovery for decades now, it does my heart good to see what we can do when we work for the good. So thank you, thank you. Okay, as we celebrate and acknowledge their courageous acts, we understand that the League's mission statement becomes that much more powerful, because not only have they empowered voters, They have clearly helped to defend democracy. But the League can't do this alone. We are committed to cultivating our partnerships and allies with a shared vision to lift all boats as we advocate for a more inclusive world. In that light, we'd like to introduce our next guest, representing an organization dedicated to advocating for LGBTQIA+ rights. With 30 anti-trans bills introduced this year in the Colorado General Assembly, we're proud to work with One Colorado on the Freedom for All Coloradans campaign to ensure that marriage equality remains a reality in Colorado and anti-trans initiatives don't make it to the ballot. So please, let's welcome Jax Gonzalez, the political director for One Colorado, who will speak about their advocacy and what we should have on our radar regarding LGBTQIA+ rights. Jax, come on up here. Okay. Right on.
Doing a little dance up here. Good morning, everybody. Afternoon, everyone. Hi, everyone. My name is Jax Gonzalez. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm the political director at One Colorado. A little bit before I talk about what's going on here in Colorado, I want to share that my grandmother was an organizer in the 70s alongside Angela Davis and the Women for Racial and Economic Equality, or RE, which was the first organization that she worked with. And she hosted a fundraiser for Shirley Chisholm in her home for her presidential race. And it is truly an honor to be here in a room with so many people who have been fighting and doing that work in that lineage, and it's an honor to be part of that lineage too. So thank you. So who is One Colorado? We are the leading advocacy organization dedicated to advocating for equity for LGBTQ Coloradans and their families. I want to talk a little bit about June. June is Pride Month, and for One Colorado, Pride is about creating spaces where we can heal, organize, and strategize. It's about fostering leadership within our communities, lifting up the voices of those who have been silenced, sharing our histories, and celebrating our cultures. Pride is an expression of collective joy and resistance, a declaration that our stories matter, that our love and our lives are worth fighting for. Pride is about solidarity, building bridges with other movements for social justice, and understanding that our liberation is bound together. Pride is about solidarity, and we can't do this without each other. The League of Women Voters of Colorado is an incredible example of that solidarity. I was invited here to share with you that LGBTQ rights will be on the ballot this year. Did you know that Colorado has a ban on same-sex marriage in our Constitution? You'd be amazed at the amount of people who I asked that question, and they do not know the answer. One Colorado and the LGBTQ plus Legislative Caucus led the efforts this year to lay the groundwork for the Freedom for All campaign. And this November, thanks to the courageous and dedicated work of that caucus, and specifically your honored guest, Brianna Titone, voters have the opportunity to remove that constitutional ban on same-sex marriage. In addition to the freedom to marry, we're fighting to keep 3 anti-trans ballot initiatives off the ballot this year that conservative activists are circulating for signature right now. Thank you to the League, and specifically the Chaffee County members who are on the ground right now helping to make sure that these issues do not make the ballot. The League has endorsed our efforts to guarantee freedom for all Coloradans, and you'll find our materials outside on the table if you need more information. I would be remiss if I didn't share about my admiration for my colleague, Representative Brianna Titone. Representative Titone is not only a trailblazer in Colorado as the first openly transgender lawmaker, she is a longtime champion of One Colorado, and she's a personal role model of mine as a trans leader myself. The queer and trans youth that I work with look up to you immensely, and I know you hear that, but I have to say it again. And thank you for your continued commitment to equity for all Coloradans. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me so that I could share about what will be on the ballot this fall. I'll be here to answer any questions afterwards that you have, or if you want to offer support for our efforts. So today we get to celebrate this incredible work led by the League of Women Voters of Colorado, and tomorrow we continue to work in coalition to empower voters and defend democracy. Thank you.
Thank you, Jax. When you think about the ballot issues that we are all supporting and we're all working on, and I'm looking around the room, and I see a lot of my contemporaries, I'll put it that way. My hair is not naturally this color anymore. So it is amazing that we're still at it, that we are still at it. I remember in 1992, being the City of Boulder's expert legal witness, testifying against the Amendment 2, the anti-LGBT, nope, it was LGB at the time, anti-lesbian, gay, and bisexual amendment to the Colorado Constitution that never went into effect. And the cities of Boulder, Denver, and Aspen, and there were some individual plaintiffs too. We challenged it, and at the preliminary injunction stage, I was the City of Boulder's expert legal witness. I must tell you, I hated practicing law, but that was the highlight. That is why I went to law school. That is why I went to law school, to have just a little bit, a teeny role in challenging Amendment 2, and of course the Denver District Court judge enjoined it, and it never did go into effect. The U.S. Supreme Court, a very different Supreme Court from the one we have now, invalidated Amendment 2. So just lawyers, when we do good, we do good. So yay. All right. Okay, now we are moving on. Thank you, Jax, and it's my great pleasure. She has been referred to again and again this afternoon, but to introduce the 2024 Leader of Democracy, Representative Brianna Titone. So we're doing things a bit differently this year. So we are going to have a keynote conversation, and we are going to explore Representative Titone's inspirational journey, the challenges she has faced, and Representative Titone's vision for a more inclusive and representative democracy. Please join me in welcoming Representative Brianna Titone. Grab your chair. Case, there are people here who may not know. Can you share with us your journey into politics and what inspired you to run for office in the first place?
Well, I just want to say thank you to the League of Women Voters first and foremost, and thank you for having me here and for all the very kind words everyone has said so far. It's been a great journey to get here, and it was, well, I mean, let me just go way back to One Colorado.
Feel free.
When I came out as being trans, I was 37, and I was trying to become an FBI special agent, and I got too old, so I had to think a little bit more about myself and how I was sacrificing who I truly was for a job that I wasn't able to get anymore. So I did some introspective thinking and found the right people to talk to so I could find out who I really was. And I came out as being trans. And when I did, I realized that I was part of a community that needed support, and I wanted a job where I was supporting my community. That's why I wanted to do that. I wanted to fight the bad people doing bad things to people and make the world a better place. And I started out doing that as a volunteer firefighter when I was 16. So giving to the community was always something I had deep in my heart. So I had found One Colorado, and they did a lobby day, and I went down there, and the first time I stepped foot in the Capitol was on the lobby day. And when I went to go speak with my representative, and I sent in, a request, I never saw that person. And that was a bit off-putting, just the person who represents me wouldn't come out to speak to me. And I spoke to somebody else, and they were very kind, and they had nice things to say. They welcomed the conversation. I started to try to get some of the bills passed that One Colorado was supporting, the ban on conversion therapy, and then Jude's Law for the gender documents for trans people. And I was taking an active role in that. And I started to become more active in the Jefferson County Party. I was starting to find communities that would say, we don't want conversion therapy in our city. So we were trying a grassroots approach. We were trying to do something different. And through that leadership, the chair of the party said, you should run for office. We need someone to run in District 27, and you've got more degrees than a thermometer. You'll be great at it. You'd be great. And I was like, yeah, but I'm a trans person. Who's going to vote for me? No one's ever elected a person like me before. And that was 2017. And in the election of 2017 in Virginia, and they have odd year elections in Virginia, that's voter suppression. And in my opinion, that's not a very good way to do elections for state offices on odd years. But Danica Roem was elected in Virginia in 2017. She was the first trans person ever elected to a state office. So when I saw that happen, I was inspired. I could do something like this. It kind of gave me permission to say, yes, I'll try this thing. And it was a district, if you know Arvada, it's been historically pretty conservative, and people did not think I would ever win in a million years. Not because I was trans, it was because I was a Democrat. And a Democrat did not do very well in that district when it was drawn. So on top of that, being trans was not looked at as an asset. But what I had was the passion for the community, the demonstration of standing up and doing things, the scientific backgrounds that I bring, and the conversations that we had. And Seth Ford, he was on my campaign in 2018, and thank you, Seth. He and all of my campaign people really helped us communicate with the voters to really understand what it was they wanted and how they wanted me to represent them, because they did not feel represented. I mean, I didn't feel represented. That's why I ended up stepping up, because if you disagree with somebody, you can still have a conversation with them about that topic when you go talk to them or you ask to talk to them. So that was kind of how I ended up here. And in that election, I won by 439 votes out of around 50,000. It was a very small margin. And I was, and I think this goes into the next question a little bit, nobody was really ready for that. Nobody was ready to have a trans person in the legislature. Nobody thought I was going to win. And it didn't even happen on election day. It happened on Thursday when I finally had enough votes to win. So it was a surprise. And to have someone who was trans in the legislature made some people uncomfortable. And it was a little bit difficult to get taken seriously in that environment because, wow, there's no way you're going to win again. So there was that kind of hurdle that I had to get over. I had to prove myself for who I was, because if I didn't, then there would be no way I would be coming back. And so I had to work really hard and overcome a lot of obstacles just to feel like I was welcome in that place. And I'll get this to the next question. There was an article written out of the blue after my second year in office by a conservative reporter from Colorado Politics. And I remember meeting him for the first time at the event that they put on, and he kind of rolled his eyes and said, "Oh, well, yeah, right, whatever." And after the 2 years that I was in office, he wrote this article, and the title was Representative Titone is Burning Down the Political Spaces, which was a pretty cool title. And then the first line, he said, "Well, I'll be the first to admit I was wrong about Representative Titone." And that was kind of the moment where I said, "Okay, I think I'm in a good spot for the next time around," because it finally gave me a little bit of a clue that people had paid attention and people noticed. And I think that I've not only have my foot in the door, but now the door is finally opening for me to walk fully through it, because it was hard to feel like I was really in the door until I really heard it from somebody who had no faith in me whatsoever say, "I believe in you now."
Okay, that's a perfect segue. So between your first victory and having that reporter say, "I was wrong about Representative Titone," can you share some of the challenges that you have faced?
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of things happen subtly. There's a lot of microaggressions. There's a lot of things that kind of, happen when, people look at, like, what do you know about that? What do you think? Who do you think you are? And they don't have to say it, but they're saying it because you can feel it. And I've been around with enough people that I can tell when someone's genuinely happy to be talking to me, and some people that are just like, "You have something I want, and I have to talk to you because you have something that I want," and it's your vote. So a lot of people talk to me because they have to, and not because they want to, and I can tell. So every time I talk to somebody, I have to win them over. I have to try to reach them and make them feel comfortable and try to break down the barriers that they have. And I do that through humor. And if you ask a lot of the people at the Capitol, I often joke around a lot, and it's to try to disarm some of the tension that people may have with me just because of my identity. My first 2 years in office, because I wasn't expected to come back, I was not really given a lot of opportunities to further myself. If a lot of people who get elected, they are set up for success and for getting into bigger and better positions so they can go on to bigger and better things. And my first 2 years was not really like that. I was in committees that did not really align with a lot of my expertise. I didn't get a chance to be a chair of a committee or really anything, or even a vice chair. So I really had to work hard and show people that I was worthy in those positions. Let's just talk about this year. I was elected by my peers to be one of the caucus co-chairs for the majority party, and thank you. That is a leadership position. So really the first trans person to be elected to a peer elected position in leadership. I'm the chair of the Joint Technology Committee, and I'm on a bunch of different boards, and I've been passing a lot of really good legislation that people were afraid to do and afraid to tackle. And one of those is the right to repair. That one, I had very bad success in the first time I did it. I was trying to do everything all at once, and that was not a good idea. And then I broke it up into little pieces, and those 3 little pieces passed, and now Colorado is the best place in the world to repair your stuff. And that was my 3 bills. We did the artificial intelligence bill, first state to pass any kind of artificial intelligence regulation. I worked with some students to get menstrual products. They were turned down by 2 other legislators before they came to me. And I said, how can I help you? How can we work together to accomplish what you want? And that young woman who led that group of students went on to win the Gold Award for the Girl Scouts, the National Gold Award, and got a great scholarship, and because it was creating an opportunity. So, you know, I don't try to be someone who gets in the way of my own success. I try to listen. I learn from my mistakes, and you know, we all make them, and you grow and you get through it. But it was always trying to catch up to my colleagues who were seemingly just going light years ahead of me so fast, and I was always felt like I was always chasing their successes, because a lot of their successes were given to them because they weren't trans and they weren't in a tough district and they weren't someone who had to fight for their rights. And I've learned so much about and so much empathy for people who have come before me, who have had to overcome so many of those obstacles before. And, you know, these are the folks who the League of Women Voters have been fighting for all along. And I appreciate the shoulders that I stand on as a result of all of the work that you've done to get us to where we are today.
Thank you for that hefty dose of reality, because the question, you know, what are some of the challenges? Most of us in here are probably quite sure that it wasn't just coming from the party, the other party. Some of it was coming from your party, and mine, by the way, our party. So thank you for, you know, that close-up look, honestly. Okay, so you've talked about some of your legislative priorities, but now we're going to switch to focusing on voter empowerment and defending democracy. And more specifically, can you share, we'll discuss, the impact of recent legislative attacks on the LGBTQI+ community, and you personally, and how allies and advocates can best support your efforts?
Well, I have to say that one of the worst moments that happened was kind of came out of nowhere. We were doing a resolution for the Equal Rights Amendment, and you know, we're just saying we would like Congress to pass the Equal Rights Amendment, and I was sitting there with most people, and we were listening to some of our colleagues, and it went in this completely weird direction where they were trying to put amendments on this resolution to erase trans people from the resolution entirety. And my seat is about 10 feet in front of the podium. So I look at the people talking right in front of me, and I'm kind of like, what? What are you doing? What? The funny thing was, though, was that most of the things they were saying, they would brush off, they would go whoop, and they would not look at me, and they would go whoop, and they would not look at me. So I was like, look at me when you're trying to erase me, look at me, because I'm sitting right in front of you. And everybody was like, what do we do? What do we do? Do we say something? How do we respond to this? And they were looking to me for that. And I didn't want to go up there and make a big statement to that during this thing. I wanted it to just end. So I had to come back the following day and have a moment of personal privilege where I had to say, this is not a place to denigrate people. This is a place to debate people. And this is, and I have to rise above it, because I can't be the angry trans person who yells and screams and lashes out. I have to be the person who is the diplomat and says, enough with this nonsense. Let's get back to work and let's do the work of the people. So that was a difficult moment for me. But it got some attention, and it got people to think and change their views a little bit. Outside of our state, across the country, we've seen so many attacks on the trans community. It's come to Colorado as well. There's been so many different ballot initiatives they tried to get on. Unfortunately, they failed most of them, and we can still defeat the remaining ones that they're trying to get on the ballot. But they're using trans people in particular as a political tool to divide all the people who might support the LGBT community. And it makes my job really hard because I have to really be perfect and talk in a way that makes people want to trust people who are like me. It's kind of crazy how all of these things have happened. But we are going to win at the end of the day. We're going to defeat all of these different initiatives. We're going to defeat all the hate. We're going to defeat all of the misinformation. But we have to do it by having conversations with people and having heart-to-heart conversations. And if we have to educate people one person at a time, then that's what we'll have to do. Because the misinformation machine is really powerful, and social media spreads things so quickly. And that's why one of the bills I ran on democracy in particular is the deep fake policy, where you see a video online and you think it's the candidate that you recognize, but it was completely made up by an artificial intelligence algorithm to look and sound just like them. And when you hear what they say, and they say something that you would never expect them to say, you change your opinion about that person because of this depiction of who they are. That is one of the most dangerous things we have for democracy right now, because it's not just rhetoric and things that people say about people like me or elected officials or anybody who they want to throw under the bus. They have the ability to create a look-alike and have them say something that makes them out to be a terrible person. And that's one of the most dangerous things that I think we're facing right now in democracy moving forward with artificial intelligence. So one of the bills that we ran was to at least have a disclosure for any kind of these things that are going on in campaigns, to say, this is not real. So you see it, you can say this is not real, and then you can make a decision on your own about whether you believe it or not. Hopefully you don't, because it's not real. But that's why this is something that we all need to be talking about and understanding and identifying and educating people about what is reality and what is not.
That's another perfect segue. From the angry black woman to the angry trans woman. I get it. Here. There you go. Okay, but that's a perfect segue. So, what is your vision, Representative Chitone, for a more inclusive and representative democracy? And what steps do you believe, in addition to the legislation you're talking about, what steps do you believe are necessary to achieve your vision?
Well, I think the League of Women Voters is an invaluable part of getting people the information that they consume. And you said about the statistics about how many people come to your website, because it's a trusted source. People come here to get the information that they need. Keep doing that. That is a great asset for democracy. But we have people getting the information from social media. We have people getting information from that they consider to be news that is not news. It is fake, fabricated things that they want you to believe is news. And that is a really dangerous thing that we have to combat. And that's one of the reasons why the deepfake bill was part of that. But media literacy is a real important thing as well. So my vision for the future of democracy is that we can help to educate more people about what and how to consume information from all these different sources, so you can know what is reality, what is not, what is opinion. I mean, some people can't tell news from opinion anymore because so many of these news organizations are mixing opinion and news so quickly that you can't really tell the difference. So it's getting harder and harder, and there's a deliberate mission for a lot of this, because there's some people who would like to see democracy fail at some point. And we cannot let that happen. We have to fight for democracy. It's a system that has stood for a long time, and it's built on foundations that are strong, and we can defend those if we continue to educate people about it. But we need to get young people as well to engage and get involved. They are the ones consuming a lot of this information, especially on the social media platforms. And that's really the future. As we get them involved and educated, we'll have a good future.
Thank you, Representative Tatone. It has been a pleasure having this conversation with you.
Thank you.
My honor,
Thank
truly.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Handing it over to Irene.
Thank you, Danny, for taking us on this journey. We appreciate it. And thank you, Representative Tatone, for sharing your story and commitment. However, if you'll stand up for just a moment, it is now my great honor. It's a privilege of being president. I get to do this. It's my great honor to present you with the 2024 Leader of Democracy Award. This award recognizes your exceptional leadership and unwavering commitment to democratic values. Congratulations to you. This is for you. And if you'd just like to say a few words, we appreciate you.
And I'll only say a few words, because I said too many words, and we didn't get to all the questions because I was a little verbose. I just want to say thank you very much for all of your support and for this honor. This is a tremendous honor for me, from an organization I have so much respect for, and the work that you do. This is a treasured honor for me, and keep up the good work and keep defending democracy. I will be there with you along the way, and whatever I can do for you all, I will be there to shepherd the democracy forward. So thank you so much. Appreciate this.
Okay, first I want to say thank you, Danny. Did a beautiful job. You got us all inspired and fired up. As we look ahead, let's carry forward the spirit of today's honorees and continue our vital work in empowering voters and defending democracy. And if anybody wants to come up afterward and take a picture in front of our banner, because, you know, empowering voters, defending democracy, we're expecting you all to take that with you out the door and help us with this work. Our efforts have made significant impacts. We must continue the momentum. There's too much at stake. This year's election is being called a referendum on our democracy, and we must continue to defend in these unprecedented times. In 10 days, we'll hold a primary election, and CD4 will also hold a special election. In 1 month, we and our partners, the NAACP and Mi Familia Vota, go to trial against a group of people organizing volunteers to go door to door in search of evidence of voter fraud. And we believe, all the while intimidating voters while they were at it. I know, y'all should even, yeah. Our executive director, Beth Hendricks, will testify in federal court in support of the Colorado voters and their right to vote without fear. Yeah. And in about 4.5 months, our country's voters will mark their ballots for president. And for the first time in history, their choices will likely include the first former president to reject the peaceful transfer of power. We need the League of Women Voters. Thanks again to all the incredible sponsors, Nancy Ulrich, the Tynes family, Ann Sutton, Barb Winnery, Maud Naral, Bonnie Seals, Kathy and Jerry Wilson, Barbara Allen Ford, the Molly Brown House, Yvonne Selfinger family, Luann Dale, Britta Singer, Tracy Trenum, and Bobby Heisterkamp. None of this would have been possible without you. Thank you. And thanks to El Seminario for the dual language newspaper. We really value our partnership. And thank you for the live stream event. Thank you to Danny Newsom. We love Cobalt, and we love you. And thanks to Jax Gonzalez for the One Colorado for being here. We look forward to working with you in the Freedom for All Coloradans campaign. We're on board. You got the league. Big thanks to our staff who put together this beautiful event. Operations Director Jane Dunk. Hi, Jane. Executive Director Beth Hendricks. And especially Communications Development Director Katina Frierson, who put in a lot of time and thought to make this a memorable event. Thank you, Katina. Okay, one more time. Perhaps you've noticed that there are ballot boxes on your tables. Also on your table are QR codes to the LWVCO's donation page and our Venmo account. Every dollar helps us empower voters. So thank you all for the dedication and support. Together we can make the difference. Have a wonderful afternoon. Beth, if you'll just come up for just one moment. These are, oh, Beth. I should just turn them around and bring them back to you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Irene. Thank you all for being here. Have a wonderful afternoon, and let's keep on defending democracy and empowering voters. Thank you.